Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Freebeat, where I post new music-related content every single day. So if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Let's get started. You may remember that just a couple videos ago, I picked up a Behringer Model D, which is a clone of the classic Moog, Mini Moog Model D synthesizer. Today, I thought it would be super fun to sample the Model D into the PO-35 Speak, which is a vocal synthesizer by Teenage Engineering, and just kind of see how the PO-35 Speak would handle a proper synth coming into it. I know we've sampled like the PO-20 Arcade before into the Speak, but I thought it would be really cool to get like a classic Moogy sounding bass and maybe a lead, get those into the Speak, and see how it processes them across the different playback types, and see what kind of a little jam we can put together. So I have dialed in a patch here on the Model D. It's kind of just a nice bassy thing with an automated sweep using the filter contour envelope. So it's going to sound something like this. Again, pretty classic Moog sound. Let's go ahead and sample this here. So we're going to hold record and then 1 on the PO-35, sample into slot 1. I'm going to use my other finger to play this E down here. All right, let's see if we got it. Oh yeah, that sounds pretty cool actually. All right, let's crank up the octave here. Let's get a good lead sound. I think I want less sweep. There we go, pretty classic Moog lead. Let's just sample that E right there. So now I'm going to hold record and button number 2. We're going to sample into slot 2 on the PO-35. Okay, we got it. I'm going to take a quick cut real quick, get the key step and the Model D out of the way, and we will resume on the PO-35. Here we are. We've got everything cleaned up now. We've just got the PO-35 Speak. That's all we need. In slot 1, we have that first bassy, filtery, sweepy thing. And in slot 2, we have our lead. So, right off the bat, we can tell that both of these sounds have a bit more noise in them than we originally recorded them with. And that actually is because of 2 things on the PO-35 Speak. So what we're going to do right off the bat is clean these sounds up. So the 2 factors that affect the noise are the playback style, which we discussed in yesterday's video, as well as just the amount of noise in the sound. So let's dial in the noise first. So we're going to make sure we select our first sound, sound 1. And then what we're going to do is hold the effects button, then the record button while we're still holding effects, and then we're going to tap the number 6 pad. So effects, record, 6. Now we are in the sample volume and noise level parameter page. A lot of people don't know this one is here. So we can play the sound. The knob on the right is going to adjust the volume. The knob on the left is going to adjust the amount of noise. So to demonstrate this, I'm going to turn it all the way up, and then I'm going to play the sound and slowly turn it all the way down, and you guys are going to hear the difference. There we go. Negative 128. That's as low as it goes. You can hear there is no noise in that sample now. There is this kind of little blip at the beginning, but we're going to take care of that in just a minute. So now to get out of this parameter page, the special one, we just hit the effects button. Now we're back to the tone and pitch and all that. So all we have to do now is do the same thing for the second sample. So sound number 2. Once again, quite a bit of noise in there. Effects, record, number 6, and then the left knob. Very cool. Once again, I hit the effects button and then we're out of there. So the next thing that can affect the tone of these is the playback style. So if we go back to sound number 1, we're going to hold effects. We're noticing that the first pad is lit up. That means we're on the neutral sound style. we can hold it and we can change it to any of the first 8 pads, which are all different playback styles like we talked about yesterday. Auto-tune. Not for this sound, definitely. Retro. It's cool, but not great. Noise, literally just puts noise on it, which that honestly sounds pretty cool with that sample. Number 5 is robot. Again, pretty cool. 6 is fifth. Get some really heavy stuff out of that, especially if you drop it down an octave. Number 7, vocoder. Very cool. Number 8, synth. Pretty good. I like number 5, robot. But you can pick your favorite one. Really quick, we're going to go back to number 1 to neutral. We're going to take care of that blip at the beginning. So we're going to tap effect until we get to the trim parameter page. Now the knob on the right determines how fast the sample plays. This one's really cool because you can actually just kind of play through the entire sample. And at max speed, pretty neat. And then at the very, very slowest speed, it's actually just going to hold the beginning of the sample, which in this case is that awkward tone that we got after we took all the noise out. Now the knob on the left determines our start point. So some of you might see where this is going. We're going to turn it all the way to the left so it starts at the beginning. And then we're just going to tweak it until we get past that opening tone. Now it's going to start right there every time. So if you just wanted to have that rumbling bass and you wanted to be able to hold it as long as you'd like, you would turn the left knob just past that opening little glitchy note and then turn the right knob all the way to the left. Now we can hold this indefinitely. And you've got a rockin' bass. However, that's kind of boring. I like the sound to evolve, especially because we put the work of programming it into the Model D. So I do want the sample to play. So we're going to change the speed with the knob on the right. 63, let's try that. 62. That's pretty good. Really works at those lower notes there. Awesome. So let's go ahead and mess with sound number 2, which was our lead. So the speed really doesn't affect anything since it was just basically the same tone the whole time. There wasn't anything really changing in the wave shape. You'll see if we turn the speed all the way up, we get quite a bit of a cutoff. And if we have it all the way to the left, it doesn't quite start at its loudest point because there was a tiny bit of swell on there. So I've got the speed set to 117. And we'll do the start point at about 23. So now we're going to hit the effects button, go back to the tone and pitch area. So now the knob on the left is going to control the pitch. So when it's at 0, it's completely neutral. You can go an octave down or an octave up. And again, right now we are still on the neutral playback mode. The knob on the right is the form knob, which kind of does a little bit of wave shape bending. Kind of gives all the sounds on here sort of like a talk box characteristic, so it's pretty cool. And by the way, all of the parameters that we've been adjusting are all tweakable in real time, and you can lock them in with the record button or the right button when you're playing back your track. It's awesome. Play the intro of Living on a Prayer with that. Let's change our playback type though. Let's try fifth. sounds pretty good. Like I said, there's some real power there. Vocoder. You can even get some real good basses out of the vocoder. I have used stuff like that for basses before on here, but when we've got that awesome filter sweepy sound that we made earlier, that's going to be a better bass. Let's try the synth playback mode. I'm going to bump it up to a full octave up. That sounds pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with both of those sounds. Hopefully you guys kind of were able to follow along in how we were able to sample that from the Model D and then clean them up and kind of tweak them to our liking. Let's go ahead and kind of make a pattern around these. So let's go to Sound 16 there, which is a monophonic version of the microtonic drum kit. Let's get this really obnoxious kit going, just 4 on the floor. I wrote in a parameter change there. There we go. Sounds pretty big actually. There we go. That's pretty good. Let's go back to our bass sound. Now I don't want to be in a major key, so let's go ahead, hold pattern. When you're holding pattern, the left knob changes your key signature, and the right knob selects your scale, major, minor, blues, and Arabic. Let's go with minor. Let's go a little higher than G. How about D? Cool, so we're going to copy this pattern, pattern 1 into pattern 2, by holding right pattern and then selecting where we want to paste it. We're going to do a multiple pattern phrase here. We're going to need 4 patterns actually, so we're going to copy it twice more. Now I'm going to go ahead and chain all 4 of these together by holding pattern, selecting 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Now we're going to let this play through once. The second time through, I'm going to hold right, and I'm going to play the bass line in. It's just going to be... something like that. Here we go. I got it right. So now let's go to sound number 2. Now the PO-35 speak is monophonic, but that's why I wrote that bass line with some gaps in it, because we're going to kind of play around the bass line with some solo-y type stuff. So what I did there is I just kept playing over the bass line, and now what we can go and do is play a bass line that's a little less legato, less held out around the notes that we just played in on sound number 2. Now you've got this fun like back and forth going on, kind of sounds like something Cuckoo would make. step parameter. Now we can play with some parameters. Let's go to the bass line. Let's make sure we're on the form function. And let's hit play, hold right. Now let's go to sound number 2 and do that. You can even record play mode changes, as we talked about yesterday. Let's get some normal effects on there. Change our scale. So there you go. Obviously some notes got out of hand there because I was just kind of playing around hitting random pads. But what's cool about the PO-35 too is when you just change your key signature like that and your scale, it'll follow suit. So right now we're in F sharp with the Arabic scale being played. And it just sounds completely wild. So there is a ton you can do with the PO-35 Speak. This video started off just as me wanting to show you guys a way to get some clean sounds out of other instrument gear into the PO-35 Speak without those being vocal samples. Obviously this guy works best with vocal samples, but you can get quite a bit out of any instrument that you own via the line in. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, go ahead and leave a like on the video. If not, you can leave a dislike. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell. Be sure to check out those links in the description down below. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.